Hey, what's up you guys, Kayla here, back here for part 2 of my vloggy adventures. If you haven't seen part 1 of my vloggy adventures, I highly recommend you go check it out. I'll leave the link in the description below. But basically, that first video was just me, like, exploring this old church that my friend had given me a tip of for a local history report, and today we will be talking, and I will be talking about what I learned about that church, and the cool history of that church. And it was really interesting and pretty intriguing. And as a side note, I just want to say I apologize for not uploading this video sooner. A couple things kind of got in the way. I meant to post it last week, this video, but whatever, enough making excuses. Let's just move on to the video, shall we?
1, 2, 3, 4.
So, last week I had went out to find this old 1800 style church that my classmate tipped me off about for our local history report, and I managed to talk to the owner of the acreage who had the church on his land, and he was actually really cool. He let me film the outside of the church for you guys, not the inside though, because of, like, he said something with the flooring being unstable or whatever. He was in the middle of restoring it, so whatever, I guess. It was still pretty cool. They let us film. It used to be a big part of, like, this local ski hill in the area, and the hippie community I mentioned about was like this place that skiers could go out and rent cabins and whatnot, and the church was a big part of the ski hill, and the skiers could, like, go up to the church and, like, get their drink and food or snacks, whatever. It was like a little resting place for it, so that was actually really cool. And the ski hill was eventually shut down, but the community stayed, and it kind of turned into, like, this little permanent place where people who wanted a quiet life could go out and live in the country in this very small secluded area, which is pretty cool. I didn't record the community, again, out of privacy, and I did ask the owner of the acreage. He was like, yeah, I don't know how they'd feel about that, so I just didn't. A lot of the homes were small cabins, and almost all of them had trails connected to their backyard, so that was cool. Ew. So, the guy who owns the church, he doesn't really know a whole lot about the church. He kind of just bought the church. He just kind of bought the property with the church on it. And so he doesn't really know a whole lot about it, but what he did tell me, it was moved from a small town probably 10-15 minutes away from his place. So it wasn't like a big move for the church, but it was a pretty big event for the town, which only has like 600 to 800 people in it. And so I drove out there to ask around about the church, and the results were kind of weird. So what was weird about me driving out to the town and asking around about the church is that not a lot of people actually seem to recall there ever was a church being moved out of their town, and I didn't understand why that was, because it's not a very big place, and it wasn't that long ago it was moved. It was moved like back in the 70s. Well, I guess that would be like 50 years ago, but still, that's not like, 200 years in the future. But anyways, I found the pastor of the current church in that town, and he told me what he knew about the church, or at least what he was told. But he kind of recommended me going to the town's history, or the town's website, for more accurate details on the church, and see if I could find anything like a newspaper or a newspaper story or something of that sort. So that's kind of what I did. So I went through the town's historical online archive for a solid 2 days for finding any documents or newspaper clippings that would be official enough to finish my report. The reason why is because for my journalism report, I needed 2 human verifications and an official document on whatever I was researching for my report. So I had already gotten my 2 human verifications with the owner of the acreage and then with the pastor, so I just needed the document to complete my report. And the reason why I was so intent on finding this is because in journalism, they kind of tell you that accuracy is everything, and
Yeah. Finally, after just 2 whole days of scrolling through these archives, I found what I believe is the original moving permit of this church from 1972. So this is what I believe to be the official moving permit from 1972. It said on the website they recovered it from a fire of one of their other churches in 2001. As you can see, there's this here. And, so I guess they decided to archive it before anything else happened to it, and then I found a scan of it on the website and printed it off at the library. So it's really a miracle that this thing even exists. It says here it's town of, well, I know what the town name is, so but some of the stuff is redacted, I noticed. Department of Building, Yeah. Owner applicant was a Mr. Arthur somebody, type of construction, 1800s wood frame, religious facility. There was no name. I just want to point out there was no name for the church, but judging by everything that was told and everything on this document, I believe that this is the correct one. So nature of work, it said alteration, inspection log, type of inspection, was approved by an R. Miller. So the setback, site survey, foundation, structural framing were all approved. Except for this was provisional. The final inspection was never finished. I noticed it was a little bit weird because it said right here, permit expires if final inspection is not completed within 180 days. And I was like, okay, so then how they moved the church if this wasn't completed? But anyways, provisional approval for structural transit. I think that's like words for the moving. Building jacked and secure for location to somewheres. Contractor report unusual settling. I don't know what he means by that. At origin site during lift. Inspector noted deep layer soil shifts not consistent with local surveys. Again, I don't know what he meant by that. It might be the flooring, because the owner of the acreage said something about the flooring being unstable. So, note, all records for origin site blank, it's been redacted, have been removed to central filing per someone's request. I don't know. And at the bottom is the signature. And I tried looking online, well, I guess that sounds weird, but just anyone for an R. Miller who could be someone like this. I didn't find anything, but it's a little bit weird that this is redacted for just a church. I don't know what the whole point of it was, but I guess I'm lucky that this thing even exists. And just for context, this is not the original document. This is a scan I found and printed off. And yeah.
Well, other than that, that's all I have for you guys today. Thank you for following me on this first vloggy adventure. And this officially concludes my first vloggy adventure. Don't forget to subscribe. And I will try to post more guitar shorts as I figure out what my next vloggy adventure is. And I apologize for the late upload. I will try not to do that in the future. And yeah, if you haven't, don't forget to follow me on X. Link will be left in the description below. So yeah, other than that, have a great day. Bye.